So does this mark a new dawn in the representation of ethnic minority women in Parliament? Well, let's talk to a councillor and cabinet member for Labour Rotherham, for the Community Development and Engagement, Mahroof Hussain. Hello, Mahroof.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
Not too bad, fantastic.
So this election, although all the headlines have been about the ultimate lack of a verdict, really, this story was there, and quite a big story, really, that hasn't got many headlines.
Yes, I mean, you've seen this time round in this Parliament a huge diversity of candidates coming forward, and certainly within Parliament itself, I mean, it's sort of doubled from 14 to 27 ethnic minority candidates coming through or becoming MPs, and I think it's great that Shabana in Birmingham and Yasmin in Bolton and Rushanara have been elected. I mean, it just shows the pool of talent out there that people can actually make a contribution to their local communities if given the chance and the opportunity by the political parties.
Do you worry a little bit, though, Mahroof, that the danger is that their ethnicity becomes almost a way of branding these MPs, that they're forever going to be talking about issues connected to being Muslim, and that they won't necessarily, as a result, be representative of the community at large?
Yeah, I mean, I agree there. There's two elements there. One is it could be branded by the community, or they could be branded by themselves. What is it that they want to do? When you're elected to Parliament, you're elected to serve the interests of your electorate. Now, that can be anybody. Now, the reason why I think their ethnicity or their religion comes to the forefront is because there's so little of them there that it seems to be something that's the first. And I don't agree with the first this or first that. I think what you should be doing is you should be the first one to represent your community in the sense of helping them, not because you're the first Muslim or first woman. However, some of these candidates have faced barriers. I mean, there's people out there who want to become politicians or councillors or MPs who face barriers not only from the public but from within their own political parties to get selected. So the glass ceiling issue sometimes may affect them. Now, if you're a woman and a Muslim, you may have different barriers to a male who's a Muslim or a non-Muslim. Now, these are the barriers that we need to break, and that's the culture of the political parties that they stand for. Now, are they giving them the support? In the case of the Labour Party, there's been all-women shortlists. Now, in Bolton, where Yasmin Qureshi was selected, it was an open shortlist. Male and female could stand for that seat, and she won in an open list, which demonstrated that she was selected on her ability rather than on her religion. And similarly, in Birmingham, it was an all-women shortlist, but Shabana is a highly qualified barrister being selected by the party. So their religion didn't play a part in them getting selected. What has happened now is that the public can give them any connotation they like, but they are first and foremost members of Parliament for everybody in their community, representing their political party to make sure that they do a great job for their community that actually elected them.
Now, have you had to work as a councillor in your own life extra hard to engage with members of the community who perhaps perceive you as being from a different culture? Is that something that an MP in a seat where there might be a large Muslim population has to kind of almost work overtime to bring in those people who suddenly don't feel that they necessarily understand the person who's representing them?
I mean, there is a bit that I have to say. I mean, you can't get away from that. The fact is that when you become a member of Parliament from a different background to whomever is the electorate, they may think, I don't understand them. But the key there is that member of Parliament or that councillor needs to reach out to everybody in those communities. Now, what I think any ethnic minority councillor must never, ever do, and if they do this, they shouldn't be an elected official, is to just represent the community that they come from. Totally unacceptable. Everybody's vote counts. Everybody's vote is very important. They need to make sure they deliver to anybody. Now, they need to get rid of that stereotype. And if they have to work doubly hard, so be it. And I think they need to do sometimes in some areas, because I think what you will see, Fowler, sometimes in some communities where it's take, for example, Newcastle, where there's been the first African member of Parliament elected up there as well. You have to work doubly hard, which shows that the electorate are looking at the abilities of the person rather than the colour of the person, because they want to make sure that the person that sits in Parliament is going to do a good job for them. We're not interested in their religion or their colour. However, we need to make sure that people of different colour or religions do come through the system, because they can bring with it a different perspective, a different understanding, to make sure that Parliament is representative of all the communities and actually can put forward a point of view that other people may not have thought of. Now, that doesn't mean that you work out a percentage of the population, therefore you should have a percentage in Parliament. What I think it should demonstrate is that there are capable and able people out there that there must not be a barrier for them because of their religion or their colour from becoming senior politicians. Now, that's where the public have taken a strong responsibility and said, look, we're going to elect somebody based on ability, not on their colour. That's where political parties need to take, some kind of step, a positive development around bringing people through the system. Either in senior positions within the party or senior elected positions like Shabana, Yasmin and Rishnara have done.
Mahroof, stay with us. We're joined on the line too by Elaine Sahira, author of Managing the Diversity Maze. Good morning to you, Elaine.
Good morning. I've been listening to this with fascination.
It's an interesting topic, and you've written and looked at this issue. This is quite groundbreaking stuff. I mean, this last election almost gone unnoticed because of the other story, but this could change the nature of politics in this country.
Yes, it could, but I won't hold my breath for a while. I have been agreeing in part with what Masood was saying. I hope I've got his name right.
Mahroof, yeah.
Was saying a while ago. I still think we have got a very long way to go. Now, as to how minorities are perceived once they get into Parliament, that's another matter. I have never in Britain heard somebody says about a white MP that he or she is only going to be representing their own colour in their constituency or so on. It is automatically assumed that any white person represents the whole community. Therefore, it is a form of racism for people to begin to believe that because somebody black is actually elected, then they have to start questioning whether they'll be representing their own people or not. And I find that terribly sad.
But there is a danger that they become in some ways typecast, that any time there is an issue that affects the nation, which has perhaps an Islamic connection, that by a natural kind of process, a Muslim MP will come on and speak about it. That is obviously going to happen. But on the flip side, I guess there must be an aspirational aspect to this, which is that for many, many young people growing up, Muslim young people in this country, seeing more politicians and high-profile people reaching the top of government is going to be a good thing.
Absolutely. Yes, that is correct. But again, we cannot stop people perceiving what they want to wish about another individual. And so, yes, their religion will come up, their ethnicity will come up, because it's a new thing. They are novel in this situation. But I think sooner or later, we'll have to get away from, the sort of total typecasting and stuff that we tend to do.
Here's a question for you both, Mahroof as well. I'd like your opinion on this. I know that Elaine, you've mentioned that you don't feel there's enough representation of women and ethnic minorities on TV debating election issues.
Especially,
and
yes.
If you were to say have a situation where you were seeing more regularly some of the new Muslim female MPs on Question Time and taking part in debates on television, would you feel that that they should appear, even if, for example, there was a BNP politician on the other side of that panel?
Well, I mean, that myth has been destroyed now when Nick Griffiths came on Question Time. Now, I think what we need to be seeing is, I don't think they should be put up just because they're Asian. I think they should be put up because they've got the ability to do the job, and they have got the ability to do the job. What we don't want is tokenistic gestures from party politics to score a few points. Now, we need to make sure that the people that are doing that job are doing it appropriately and correctly. Now, I agree with the comment previously around, will their religion come to the forefront? I think it was Mohammed Sarwar MP in Glasgow, the former MP, who was asked, are you going to be an MP for Muslims? He goes, the day you go and ask the Christian MP and the Jewish MP, they're going to represent their community, then come and ask me, which was quite a good point, because, I'm an MP, why do you need to bring my religion into it? Now, we need to debate with all parts, with all societies, and I think in order to check the credibility of the BNP, we need to critique their policies. And, if an Asian person could do that or a white person could do that, as far as I'm concerned, it's a politician that's doing that. That's what the key issue is.
One more question for you both. Elaine, do you believe in your lifetime or in the near future that we will see a black Prime Minister or possibly an Asian Muslim Prime Minister of Britain?
I mean, it was the Obama slogan, yes, we can. I think we're not as far ahead as the Americans, I have to say, in the political system for as ethnic representation is concerned. But, in 10, 20 years' time, or probably less, we may see that a politician is judged on their ability rather than on their colour. So whatever their colour is at the time, or whatever their religion is at the time, won't be an issue, I think. But, it's great to see Obama. To be honest, Obama has now set the benchmark for all countries to say nobody can be refused or deselected or not elected because of their colour or their religion. It's now being done in one of the biggest democratic countries in the world. You can do it in Britain. You can do it anywhere in the world now.